Welcome to the Track Talk Podcast, an in-depth look at popular songs. My name is Matty Margallo, and I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and a music lover. I'll be your guide as we talk about this week's track, the pop powerhouse Sia's Chandelier. Every episode, we're going to provide you with an analysis on a track from a music production and lyrical level to its social significance and legacy. But it won't be just me yapping at you about music. We will also have a weekly guest host to help me do it. This week, we have singer, songwriter, producer, frequent collaborator of mine and friend, the lovely and talented Tasneem Islam. How you doing, Tasneem?
Hi. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You're one of the first people I thought about when we were kind of trying to think of a guest for the show. So I'm glad you could squeeze in a little time for us to come over and discuss this really rad record.
Totally. Happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your musical background.
So I grew up singing Bengali music. So my parents put me through lessons, which I hated, from the age of 4. And that really got me into singing and learning almost the styles of like riffing and getting into the jazz genre. So by the time I got into college, I had basically self-trained myself to sing jazz. And throughout high school, I took lessons. I was in a cappella groups. I did a Bengali kind of band where I performed with.
Can you expand a little bit on Bengali? I'm not too familiar with that.
Yeah, so Bengali is my first language. My parents are from Bangladesh.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so Bengali, Bangladesh. And it is very similar to Indian music. Like there's a harmonium that usually accompanies a singer, and then there are tabla, which are the drums.
The drums, which are usually very kind of like high paced, very fast and danceable. Is the thing I always think of, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm actually using tablas in one of my new songs.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And that just like I didn't realize how incredibly lucky I was to have parents that pushed me towards singing. Granted, they wanted me to like be a singing doctor, and that's just not happening. But like I was very lucky at such a young age to be exposed to my own culture in that way.
Wow. Okay. Were there any artists that you grew up listening to in that genre?
Yeah. I mean, Rabindranath Tagore is very, very popular. He's one of the greats. A staple, if you will, in Bengali music. But I honestly just listened to all these cassettes that my parents would play in the car, and I would have no idea.
For our younger listeners, cassettes are these. I'll post a picture on our. The logo for our podcast is a cassette tape. So if you were looking at our logo, that's exactly what that is. And ask your parents about it. They'll know about it.
Yeah.
So you said you were in some groups in high school, and then were you in any bands or anything in the high school as well?
No, I was actually in a band a couple bands in college, most notably.
Gotcha.
Yeah, most notably Jesus the Crazy and the Bad Kids. I was the baddest bad kid, of course.
Where'd you go to college?
Rice University.
Rice University in
Houston,
Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
My friends thought I was crazy for going there. Well, to Texas, not.
Were you playing a lot of country music out there, or
no?
No, it was a country music
it was a
band.
Funk soul blues jazz
okay.
band.
That makes more sense. That's that's kind of more your speed as far as kind of genre. So, was it all original music or?
Yeah, I think we did one cover, but it wasn't really a cover. But yeah, it's all original music.
That was cool.
I wrote the majority of the lyrics, and then Michael, he was our guitarist. He kind of like led the band. He wrote the guitar line, and we would work together to create like the melody and the verses, choruses, and then the rest of the band would also incorporate like their instruments. It was a 7-piece band, so it was pretty big.
Wow. So like rhythm section, guitar, drums, bass, keys,
bass. We had 2 saxophonists.
Oh, great. Little horn
dope.
section. That's great.
And a a flautist.
That when you get once you get past the rhythm section of just kind of your basic guitar, piano, drums, bass, and bring in the secondary. I don't even want to call them secondary, but you bring in that extra part of it. It would either be it strings or brass instruments or anything like that. It brings your tracks to a whole nother level, and I'm sure that it was a total like party every time you guys went out and played.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I love each and every one of those guys. It was just such a good like group, and just so much talent in, I feel like 7-piece bands don't usually work out, but
it's
really
hard
well.
enough to to get just a couple guys together. I had a 3-piece. I have a 3-piece here in LA, and then we have another 4-piece band I'm in here, Red Giant. We might have mentioned them from before, Red Giant. But even then, it's kind of tough to get 4 people, 5 people, 7 people in a room once a week if you can to do it, or even if you're trying to record a record or something. That sounds even more difficult because that's more than just 2 hours a week of rehearsal. So
We
so
practice
are
like
you
crazy.
still talking to those guys? Or are any of them out here in LA? Or
I still keep in touch. I went to actually the bassist's wedding in April. Congratulations to him. So met up with him, and then the drummer Nick and the keys player Phil. So we all went to the wedding, and then just within the past 2 weeks, I was in Boston, and the guitarist Michael met up with him in Cambridge because he goes to MIT.
great.
And I'm from Boston, so it was
Right.
perfect.
So you got a chance to hang out too.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Did you when you were in Boston, were you playing a lot too? I guess you were a little younger. You weren't in college, so I guess.
Yeah, I was mostly performing with my a cappella group. We performed.
Did your acapella group have a just
name?
super corny name?
No, it was the best name ever.
Okay, what was it?
Guacamole. Yeah, I love that group.
What kind of stuff did you guys do in that group?
It was covers, pop, a lot of pop. Man, we covered a song by Sia actually.
Oh, really?
Soon will be found.
Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
amazing. Yeah.
Acapella is so fun. I was in 2 acapella groups back in college too,
yeah.
so I know exactly. Acapella is so funny to me because in the college world, it's all about acapella. Mm-hmm. There's even was it Boca Best of College Acapella? That's like a really big thing.
Amazing.
And I don't know. And then what was those movies that came out a couple years ago with Anna Kendrick? Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect too. Like, and then there's also that show on NBC that they had with the competing not they weren't college, but acapella groups. Like there was a couple of groups. Pentatonics is the big name from there.
Right.
The Sing Off. Yeah. And that was such a big thing, and acapella is so great, especially as a singer, to hear vocalists really just come together. I mean, they do feature soloists, but it is about the group, isn't it?
Definitely, it's never just about the soloist ever.
Yeah.
It's all about like the cohesion. Like you have your tenors, your bass singers, your sopranos, your altos, and just being able to create that super tight sound that's so meshed together. It's so difficult, and you're recreating like a live band on stage.
Did you what part did you sing in those groups?
I mostly did alto. I'm
Did
definitely
they
an
have you
alto
beatboxing
singer.
too?
I think I beatboxed for one song, and I was like,
I feel like there's
never
always
again."
one like novelty song for every acapella group where everybody gets to do like a little beatbox,
Yeah.
but you're just like assigned like you get to do just the snare drum or just the the hi-hat part.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure any beatboxing that I did for a full song was just during rehearsal.
Right. They never had you solo beatbox. But did you guys have a beatboxer in that group too? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems to be the
she was super
standard
talented.
thing. Oh, it was a lady, a girl.
It was like all girl, female.
Oh, that's cool.
It was all female acapella.
That's really rad. Were some of the girls singing the lower parts too? Some of the kind of god parts?
Definitely. I think our biggest size was 15 people, and our smallest was 11 or 12, something like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, acapella, you had the band in college. You're here in LA now. Or what kind of music stuff are you getting to in LA now?
So if I sing live out and about, it's usually jazz. Usually jazz covers a lot of Amy Winehouse, but I've also covered like Sam Smith, and I've covered, God, I'm like reaching a blank in my brain.
A lot of those kind of like
songs.
crossover type like kind of artists who kind of float in those different genres. You'll do those kind of cover songs.
Totally, like jazz, pop. I've done a bunch of pop. Like all sorts of music, honestly. And I've sung a couple of my songs, my my original songs live too. I mostly produce my original songs though.
So you do all your producing on your original songs. I saw you got your new computer. You got your MacBook, so you're going to be producing some stuff on it. What were you producing? What application were you using prior to getting your Mac here on your last computer?
Mixcraft, actually.
Mixcraft. I haven't used that one, but I've heard some of the songs you've done, and they sound pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. It's like the hipster version of like Logic, but it's I know I've been working on it since I was a kid. Really,
right? So you're really comfortable with it.
Well. Yeah.
I think you're gonna find that when you move into like Logic and stuff, you're gonna find like your ability to create so many different sounds is gonna
really
expand. It's gonna be super fun. So it'll be great to hear that. We did a gig where you released an EP, so you have an EP out as well, right?
Yes, I do.
Right. And is that available? Where is that available now?
That is available on Spotify, SoundCloud, even iTunes, Apple Music.
Great. So we'll post all that information on our Facebook and Twitter and stuff too.
Cool. Thank you.
The big thing that I wanted to ask you was you picked the song Chandelier by Sia. How does that song and Sia as an artist kind of what's your relationship to both of those?
So I fell in love with Sia in high school when I first heard that song through my acapella group, and she just has this in like her empathy like in her voice. It's unique, and I'm a singer who sings pretty low, but she's got quite the high range.
She's got like a real top end, and it's nuts. And it sounds like it doesn't sound like she's straining, but it sounds like there's like emotion in it, which is tough to hear when you or tough to sing for singers when you're just trying to hit the note, but also have like show that emotion in the middle of it too. I think she does a great job of that.
And that's why I love her music.
Her
voice is just, it's so unique.
That sounds like you were listening to her prior to some of those big hits when those big hits came out, right?
Definitely.
Especially even before Chandelier, and some of the ones I wrote down here before were Titanium with David Guetta. That was the one I remember hearing her from.
Oh, I love
when she was coming up. The other one, Wild Ones with Flo Rida.
Oh yeah,
my man Flo Rida, which they made a great joke in Atlanta about Flo Rida, and I don't know. Go check out Atlanta with Donald Glover. They make a great Flo Rida joke in there.
That's show
yeah. Definitely check that one out. But I mean, since we mentioned it, let's get into the song and Sia. Sia, I was looking at her Wikipedia. I guess she was kind of similar. She was doing like jazz gigs and stuff, and coming up, she was playing a couple bands, but I guess those never really took off.
Yeah.
And then
she writes for all these huge
artists.
And
I guess she got kind of into the writing game and writing for different artists. As far as the artists, I wrote down a couple here that she was working with.
Rihanna, Britney.
Yep. Maybe you can name the rest of them I had on here.
Oh, God.
I had Beyonce and Jennifer Lopez as well. The famous Rihanna one I'm thinking of right now is Diamonds. She did Diamonds.
Yeah, she did.
And I think did you catch that when she was on James Corden's show? James Corden, that late night host, he does the carpool karaoke.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
It was her and him in the car, and they were doing Sia songs, but they did Diamonds, and she was singing like "Shine Bright Like a Diamond," and I was like, "Whoa, that's so crazy!" Because then you realize like she wrote the song, which is really dope. Yeah. And I guess a lot of like songwriters or actually artists now become famous from writing for other people,
that's how
right?
Sam Smith did it.
Sam Smith, I think Neo got his start writing. Yeah. He wrote To the left for Beyonce. What's that one?
No way.
Irreplaceable. No way. And I remember watching it was like some interview, and he said he wrote it because he grew up with just like an auntie and like his mom and stuff. So house of women. So he was always very empathetic to like women and how they deal with their relationships. So I guess he based that song on a situation with his aunt, like kicking her, cheating ass man out the house.
We all draw inspiration from very different experiences.
Well, from real life,
exactly.
And it's crazy to see someone like Sia come up. And I guess so. I pulled it up, and the record that she had this on was 1,000 Forms of Fear, which was her 6th studio album. So she had already put out 5 records before that.
Yeah. And then she just released.
And then she just released this latest one.
Yeah.
With Cheap Thrills and.
Yeah, and apparently that album is all songs that was meant to be sung by other artists, but they were rejected.
So she's like, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah,
then.
and now look at Cheap Thrills; it's a big hit.
Yeah, yeah. That's so That's such a fascinating thing. I always think the songwriting world is a whole nother thing, because I'm very involved right now in production in the music, but the songwriting part of it, when these songwriters like Sia, or even just kind of just staff songwriters for different places, are just pitching these songs, and these songs get like handed around to all the artists. Like,
Definitely. If
you're pitching one to Beyonce, you're probably pitching that same song to Rihanna or Kelly Clarkson or any singer, because I even remember there was like that situation where Ryan Tedder from One Republic, he had written a song, pitched it to Kelly Clarkson, and then that same song ended up on Beyonce's record too. Or at least the same track or something similar, and they maybe changed the lyrics or something, but like all these songs are ending up in the same artist's hands, which I think is so funny, because they're all pitched to go onto the top 40.
Sure, right.
Play as Billboard and all that stuff.
There's always gonna be crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to Chandelier, what was it? When I texted you earlier this week to kind of figure out what song, why were you drawn to Chandelier specifically?
So it was hard thinking up a song that I would like just one song to choose for this podcast, but I remember I was in college and I was working out and I was listening to my Pandora, Sia, the station, Sia.
Yeah.
And it came on. I was like, this is amazing.
Oh, that was the first time you heard it, through Pandora?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And of course I heard it on pop radio like after, but like a bunch of times. But it's just the way that she sings the lyrics, and the lyrics themselves, they were just so powerful and unexpectedly so, because she sings in the chorus 1 2 3 1 2 drink 1 2 3 1 2 3 drink, throw them back till I lose count. Like, it's just it's about blacking out and like forgetting, running away from reality or like your fears or whatever it may be. And when you're working out, you're like, yeah, like I'm going hard, like I'm getting buff, right?
It's kind of that thing of like going all out when you're going out. It seems like it's a party song, but it could be taken as something else.
It's a little deeper. Yeah.
What's so funny is like around this time, it was let me just kind of pull the day here. It was released in March 17, 2014. So that's about 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago. Around that time, there's a lot of songs about like, what's that saying that everyone was saying around that? YOLO? You only live once. Like that whole idea of like party until the morning time, doesn't matter about whatever consequences. I guess that was all kind of there, but it does feel like she's exploring that, and but it feels like she's going a little deeper.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess like on a personal level, I have always had a penchant for songs that were very dark and mysterious and sad. I don't know why, I just like that stuff.
Right.
I guess I was a little emo in high school, but and when I heard the song, I got all of that, but also like the sense of like I wanted to dance to this song. I wanted, like, it's a very upbeat but yet so dark. And some of my songs are upbeat and dark too, so I kind of related on that level.
Do you find a little bit of influence from Sia's stuff when you're writing your stuff too?
Yeah, definitely. In 2014, I already had a few of the songs that I was going to release. Like I was working on them.
It's like if you listen to your stuff and then kind of listen back to back with Sia stuff, maybe it's not a copy, but it's definitely influenced by.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say I'm influenced by Sia for sure. Like, at least like vocally in some ways, but also the production and the beats and the background.
Well, let's get into the song a little bit here. Like I said, released March 17, 2014, St. Patrick's Day, Shaun's favorite day. I don't know. He's not even Irish, so I don't know. Shaun's our producer, if you didn't catch that. So he doesn't have a mic, so I can just say whatever I want. He'll just take it. Off of the 1,000 Forms of Fear 6 record from Sia. Here's one. Originally written for the intention to pitch to Rihanna and Beyonce. So kind of going back to that same thing. So could you imagine hearing the song sung by either of those artists? I wonder if they could even pull it off. Maybe it wouldn't be the same. It would be definitely different. They might have them recorded a little bit differently too, I think.
Definitely. Their styles are all very different.
They're all very different too. So that'd be interesting. I would love to just hear like kind of that version by those guys.
Totally.
So written by Sia, whose last name is Furler, and Jesse Shatkin. Jesse Shatkin was a songwriter and producer. Fellow collaborators, ready for this list? Kelly Clarkson, Kylie Minogue, One Direction, Fits and Tantrums, and Rihanna. So
One Direction?
One Direction in there too.
What?
Yeah. So once again, like, this is a very, like, I guess that's why it's so difficult to get in this industry. Just these guys are working with the same people, mostly because they're pumping out hits. They're pumping out great songs.
Yeah.
On the production side, Jesse Shatkin also produced, and Greg Kirsten was a producer on it. Ready for this list? Kelly Clarkson's Stronger, Ellie Goulding's Burn, Adele's Hello, and looked like he worked on Sia's last record. Pretty much all the songs on Sia's last record.
Wow.
So, I mean, once again, once you're in with someone, you end up trusting them a lot, and I guess that's why they keep coming back to these guys for these sort of things.
I mean, that's why it's so important in the music industry to collaborate with everyone.
Yeah. You build a reputation, and
you build those relationships.
I think that's what it is. The best advice I ever got was you'll do stuff for your friends and people that you have relationships with rather than just some name in your little black book of contacts. Exactly. And I think that's kind of evidence of what you see here. You know, they trust each other, and they all know that they can go to each other and put out good material and good content. Definitely. Let's get into the lyrics for Chandelier. We already talked a little bit about it, but let's go line by line and kind of break this down just a little bit. Let's go in that first verse. Party girls don't get hurt, can't feel anything. What will I learn? I push it down, I push it down. Party girls don't get hurt.
I think it's, like in college, like a lot of people, girls, boys, whatever, they drink, they party, they do drugs, whatever. And sometimes I feel like that vibe is given off like, oh, like that party girl, she doesn't care. She doesn't care. Like, she'll do whatever. Like,
do you think it's also coming from the side of the party girl where they're like, I'm untouchable right now? Like, I think at that age, you do feel a bit invincible, right?
For sure. Oh yeah, you're like, oh, I'm never gonna die. Like, alcohol's not gonna kill me.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's a bit of a cautionary tale. Well, let's go on the second one. I'm the one for a good time call. Phone's blown up, ringing my doorbell. I feel the love, feel the love. So getting popular, knowing that she's gonna be fun, a party for that night. People are hitting her up.
Yeah.
Like,
totally. People are coming to her for like who knows, like having fun for a night, or the social connotations of like being popular and like,
right.
Like, oh, I know her. Like,
right.
Like we party together, and it's almost like it's gonna lead up to something much darker because it's like, oh, this is all fake.
Yeah.
It's all
fake.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, drink. Throw them back till I lose count. This girl's ready to party. Right? That's what I'm getting from that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. I'm gonna live like tomorrow doesn't exist. That's going back to that thing I was talking about. That time of music. There's a lot of music coming out. What's the one I was thinking of? Keisha with the $sign. She had the one. Party or live like you're gonna die young,
right.
Like that whole idea, which is not like a new idea either. It wasn't. Isn't there a Springsteen track that's from that? Shaun, you can test that, I'm sure. But that idea of just like let's just party and live like there's no tomorrow. See, I like the idea of like it's not party now. It's like live like tomorrow doesn't exist. So. It's becoming bigger than just like this one night of us going out or whatever.
Definitely.
Right?
There's some, apocalyptic.
I'm going to fly like a bird through the night. Feel my tears as they dry. I'm going to swing from the chandelier. So now she's really getting into, at this point, not just party or just kind of this one night thing. Like, it's getting a little deeper. Feel my tears as they dry. It was like, why is she crying? Well,
right.
There's something deeper going on here. But I'm holding on for dear life. Won't look down. Won't open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light because I'm holding on for tonight.
Yeah,
and kind of repeats.
I think that's about like when you succumb to a drug or alcohol. It's about
right.
You're running away from something. You're running away from something because that's not reality. Like when you're drunk, that's not reality. When you're, I don't know, high on whatever, that's not reality. And
at least in in context of what she's talking about here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
For some people, drugs and alcohol is their reality and it's super sad and can ruin. So
sad.
So actually, now that we're talking about it, going into the second verse, that kind of hits it right on the nose. Sun is up. I'm a mess. Got to get out now. Got to run from this. Here comes the shame. Here comes the shame. So I think that pretty much says it all. Like, especially when you get to the second verse, that's a really long chorus, by the way. I was listening through. I was like, man, that's a long chorus, and gets there. So you're already halfway through the song. So she's already kind of throwing this thing of like, man, I went way too crazy. Like I'm feeling like bad right now. I'm feeling, shameful.
I almost see the beginning as like the pregame, the party, and then this is like sobriety.
Yeah.
At
least trying to, maybe dealing with a hangover, that whole deal, right?
Yeah.
And then kind of hits the rest of the lyrics again for the pre-chorus going into the chorus again. Although at the end of the chorus, it does a repeating on for tonight because I'm holding on for tonight. Oh, I'm just holding on for night, on for tonight. Kind of that whole repeating thing.
Right. Yeah, that when I hear the repetition like in her voice, it's almost desperate.
Yes, I think that's a great way to say it.
Desperate and just like, this is my last shot, or this is, I have to do this to cope, or I'm trying to forget everything, so I just stop caring.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm hearing in her voice.
For me, the lyric "I'm gonna swing from the chandelier" is so like visual to me.
Yes.
Yeah, just like
what a great image. Swinging
just
from
swinging
a chandelier.
from a chandelier. And chandelier is a great word too. I feel like I haven't heard that like in a song, or if I have, it doesn't. It's not the center point of the song. It's not like the big lyric of the song or the title of the song.
Right. I mean, who's going to try to rhyme something with
chandelier? Chandelier and a beer. There we go.
Oh my God, yeah. Next big hit.
Yeah.
Hey, Kiss 108.
So it's lyric wise kind of short, but I think it tells a big enough story of what Sia as the songwriter is going through. And gosh, it works really well the way she works with her vocal, especially on that chorus, right?
Yeah.
She just nails it.
Totally, and like you can feel it in her voice, and I mean, I hear so many songs on pop radio that I'm like, okay, this is whatever. I there's no soul behind it. There's no emotion. But with her, like you can feel what she's feeling.
Yeah.
Unless she's a great actress, but like.
I mean, she's laying it out. I think that's part of her thing is just like, when you listen, you believe her.
Yeah, she lets it all out there.
Yeah, and her contemporaries, I feel, all have their own kind of thing. We've mentioned them several times already at this point. It reminds me of especially with a lot of these not lady singers, whatever you call them. Female singers. Remember that like time back in the 90s, they would do those like VH1 like divas shows.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Oh God.
I feel like they're ripe right now to pull off one of those kind of shows with a bunch of these type of female artists. Like there's so many great female artists that are just all over the radio and they're doing great music.
Yeah, definitely. I'd watch one.
I would watch it too. I think that would be a highly rated show too.
Next project.
It was like Divas VH1 or Divas Live or something. I don't know.
I didn't have cable back in the day.
It happened, believe me.
No TV for this girl.
Cool. Do you got anything else on those lyrics? You feel like we kind of... I feel like we kind of nailed that.
I think we nailed that, yeah.
For those of you listening, if you got any other kind of interpretations, for lack of a better word, on these tracks, go ahead and tweet at us at the Track Talk Podcast, at the Track Talk Pod on Twitter, and maybe hashtag it Chandelier. Does that work? Shaun likes that. He's looking at our Twitter right now. Let's get into the production of this. The production of this from Greg Kurstin and Jesse Shankin is so cool. This, I guess the genre of it is like electro pop.
Electro pop, yeah.
But it's got some kind of like, it's got some like R&B elements, a little bit kind of like, kind of tropical, I guess. Elements in there, kind of maybe the instrumentation, kind of reggae elements,
little bit.
Maybe kind of maybe more like that. But at the top, actually, let me get just kind of this, as what I like to call the song basics. Cue some sort of sound drop. We'll add that in someday. Maybe song basics. We'll figure it out. The runtime for this song, 3 minutes 36 seconds. So kind of that standard pop song length. I know usually you want to keep it right around 4 minutes when it comes to like radio.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
if it's over, then they usually will make a radio cut or radio edit. Yeah. The key is B flat minor for my people who are wondering that, and it's in 4/4 time. At the top, there's a snare roll pickup, which is real short. It's like just a second or two long. It's just a maybe half a bar, and then drops right into the song. Doesn't usually happen a lot, I feel like, in popular songs.
No.
There's usually like a big kind of entrance or something to like for the intros for these songs,
her voice
right?
does it for this song, you know. Just
Her
kinda
voice
hits
is the intro for the song, so that makes absolute sense. So right when that snare roll happens, it drops right into kind of a real simple beat with that same kind of snare sound. There's some snaps in there, her vocal right on top of it with that first verse, and then there's like I guess it sounds like a marimba, I guess, doing this kind of like arpeggiating line, which sounds real cool. So it's outlining the chords that are in there. So she's singing, and it's all these cool little like kind of just real constant in there, kind of keeping the beat. And then these cool like 808 slide sounds where it's like boo, boo. Just real sparse though. Very, very cool production. And it goes through that first verse twice, I guess, or it's like twice as long what she's singing, so it does that twice through, and then it gets into that pre-chorus 1 2 3 1 2 3 drink, and then right in there, the kick, a bass, and this reverb snare. Me and Shaun know about this reverb snare. Starts hitting, and it's just like the snare hits, and it's like snare. It doesn't say snare, but you can hear it. You'll go listen to the song. You'll be able to hear it, and then she hits that chorus, and man, that chorus is so full. It drops so hard. We got the full drums come in. We got a kind of like a piano chord thing coming in, a bass with a kind of a fuzz sound coming in, synths on top of that, and then this kind of marimba. Now when you go back and listen to it, that same marimba sound, they have like these notes that's just kind of going back and forth the whole time, and it's just perfect. Kind of perfectly fits in there with Sia's vocal, which is just soaring at that point.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I love that. They complement each other so well.
Yeah. And they, for it being so full, for her vocal to just like fit in, I feel like can be tough. And, I've mixed a lot of stuff where you can have a hard time having so many different instruments and then a vocal on top of that, but her vocal just cuts through. She's got one of those kind of voices.
Yeah, it can stand alone or be layered, and it still sounds amazing.
Have you ever seen any live performance of her?
I haven't. I've watched on YouTube.
Sure. So you haven't got a chance to hear her in concert? Yeah.
Oh no.
I bet you that concert is killer too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Goes through there. There's a phenomenon that's happening in music, I'd say probably in the last 5 years, where I call it like the dual chorus. Yep. Where you have like the main chorus with like the lyric or like kind of the big notes, and then you have the second part of the chorus that's kind of this repeating kind of hooky thing.
Right, yeah.
And that's what's happening here. So basically what I'm talking about is I'm going to swing through the chandelier all the way to the end of that part. is that kind of main chorus part, but then it goes into the I'm holding on for dear life and won't look down, won't open my eyes. So that's repeating. And it's got a different kind of melody and feel there where it's a lot faster. It's not these long notes, with the chandelier part. And that's something I feel like I hear more and more in pop songs. So like choruses are even longer in tunes now too. And
I mean, it's the chorus often of the pop songs that, get stuck in our heads. So
I think isn't that the idea to keep it, keep it popular and easy to remember. That's the idea, right? Yeah. It is a little wordy, this one, but the way she sings it and the way the notes are, it's like, it's not that hard to remember.
Fits.
Yeah, it fits really well. In that second part, so that first part, it's mostly her vocal. It might be layered with just like a secondary where I'm swinging from the chandelier, but when it gets to that second part, I'm holding on for dear life, then actual background harmonies coming in. It's real sweet. I think she's singing her own backgrounds on there too. She seems like she's talented enough to.
Yeah, I think that she would.
Yeah. Let's see. Goes back into the second verse. Pretty much the same as the first. It does a cool little background vocal thing that goes into the pre-chorus, kind of like this oh thing, which is I think I saw it on like Facebook just the other day. It's called like the pop whoop or something.
Oh,
did you see that? It was like it's like jumping between like two different notes, but it's like it's that kind of thing that's happening here. It might not be exact, but it's definitely like
it's definitely becoming more popular.
Yeah,
to use in voices.
Yeah, it's non-lyrical too. It's not a word. It's usually like a vowel.
Yeah, like
and
a
whoa, 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 something like that. And it's super like catchy and poppy, and just anyone can sing it. Definitely. And anyone can pick it up too. I feel like that's the important part. Goes in that pre-chorus, hits that chorus, and then goes through that chorus, and then hits that last section we were talking about. On for tonight, because I'm just holding on for tonight. It repeats that out, right? But everything drops out. All the instrumentation drops out. And it ends up being just the piano, strings, and then a little bit of that bass in there. And then it just ends.
I love that.
There's no final chorus. There's no bridge. It just ends. And that's a super cool choice. I wonder if there was a long extended cut and then they cut it down to that. But if they didn't, I think that's a cool choice to just go verse chorus, and then just outro, end it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, even in my own music, to not stick to the standards.
The standard formula, sure.
Yeah, like ABAB.
Yeah.
Having a bridge right after the second chorus, or after the second verse. I always find that so boring and repetitive, and
it's kind of the same form they've been using for years.
Yeah, and like I respect tradition, but
right. I know when I'm writing and producing, I'm always thinking that stuff down the road. Especially for if I want to pitch it to a songwriter, write lyrics and stuff, I'm like always trying to like formulaically like have like, all right, I gotta have a bridge here, I gotta have a verse here, chorus here, and like I'm like, gosh, am I just setting them up for just making kind of the next same thing as everybody else? So it's like that's always a tough decision to make. So it's nice to have, especially they Jesse Chatkin, who wrote the lyrics and the music, was also a producer on it. So maybe that had something to do with it, where they were writing the lyrics. You're like, you know what? Let's just cut the rest out and let's just leave it at that. And they kind of just ended it on just that last section, which is real pretty the way it ends.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But that is kind of the production aspect of it. I'd love to know what kind of instruments and stuff they're using. I don't have that information here, but I could speculate they're using some. I don't think they're using any real violins or anything, or real piano. My guess is a lot of samples and stuff, but I could be wrong. Let's go into just a little bit of the theory for all those music heads out there. I know you guys love this stuff. The verse has only 4 chords. It's B flat minor, G major 7, A flat, F minor. So you're looking at a 1 minor jumping to a 6 major 7, which is not in the key of B flat major, but in B flat minor. So that's why we're in B flat minor. It does a flat 7 and then goes to that 5 minor. So You guys who know what I'm talking about, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you look at it. Goes in that pre-chorus, breaks it, goes into that 6 major 7 again, which is a really pretty chord. Goes back to that 1 tonic, 1 minor, and then hits that flat 7 again, going into the chorus. Once we hit that chorus, goes to that 6 major 7, that flat 7, and then here's where it does an interesting one. Hits that D flat over F. So you're looking at basically a 4 over the 5 chord, and then it finishes off on that 6 major 7, kind of keeping it all in that B minor. So you were talking about it being a dark song, and all the chords are keeping it in a dark sounding tone. There's some stuff outside of it, but not much. It's all very still in that B minor progression, which works really well for this.
It works amazingly well, and it's the beats that keep it going.
Yeah.
Really upbeat and danceable.
Yeah, it's funny that you can do these dark tones, but still give them the beat and give them the sounds and the synths, and still feel like you want to dance and like groove to it.
Definitely.
Where, sometimes you can play these type of like minor notes and chords, and it's just sad and kind of depressing sounding. Right. But they do a really good job with this. And I mean, the first word is party girls. So
I mean, it works perfectly because, it is technically like a party song, and it's about partying.
Yeah. There's a little darker, deeper message to it, and I think they captured that with the production on this. They did a really good job on this song. There's no wonder why it was a total hit when it came out. It was listed in Billboard's best song of 2014. I believe it. I totally believe that. Oh, yeah. It had 4 Grammy nominations: Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Pop Solo for Sia, and then Best Music Video. Yes. And was the first top 10 song for Sia as a solo artist.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because those other tunes I mentioned were with David Guetta and Flo Rida. Oh, right. My man Flo Rida. So this was her first when she came out as a soloist, which she had already been a soloist for at least 5 albums. Yeah. So it's nice to see. What I like about her story is she had been in the industry for a long time, and she finally started seeing success.
Yeah. So kept at it.
Yeah. I turned 30 just a couple of years ago, and I'm like, gosh, is it over at this point? It's like, well, no, there are plenty of artists and people who make it well after their 30s, and Sia's one of those examples of making it, especially later in your career, Definitely. So yeah, huge, mega huge. I did mention they had the Grammy nomination for Best Music Video. So let's talk about this music video. You've seen this music video. Man, little girl. That might have maybe what put this song over the top too. This music video is crazy. There's only one performer in the music video. It's not Sia. It's actually a girl named Matty Ziegler, and she's a dancer. I think she was 12 or 13 when she was dancing in the video. And if you haven't seen the video, I would definitely check it out on YouTube or Vivo. It's basically this girl, Matty, in a rundown apartment, wearing a blonde wig and a leotard, and she's doing essentially, I guess, an interpretive dance to the lyrics of the song. Yeah. And it's obvious she'd been dancing since she was like little, because she's really amazing in the video.
Do you know who choreographed it?
I have the name here. Choreographed by Ryan Heffington. I'm not familiar with his work, but I'm sure if he did this, I'm sure he's done plenty of other great videos and other dance videos. Sia and Daniel Askell actually directed the video. So I guess Sia has a big part in the videos when she directs them. If you remember, actually Maddie's in another video of hers, Elastic Heart. Right. With Shia LaBeouf. Yeah.
He lives in Burbank, right around.
Oh, Shia. Even Stevens himself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. A little crazy, but whatever. Hey. Whatever. This video with this girl is so like, I don't know, it felt fitting. It felt perfect, right?
It's perfect. Like it was unexpected. Mm-hmm. I did not expect like seeing a little girl in that, now that trademark little Sia wig. Mm-hmm. And now she's like the face of her, all of her music videos. Yeah,
I think Sia's very like, I guess she's a very private person, because even now she's got that crazy wig that like covers like half her face.
The giant bow.
With the bow and everything. So I guess she she likes being a singer and an artist, but I don't think she likes the spotlight as much. So I think that proves with the music videos and when she's out in public and stuff, and she kind of hides her face.
For sure.
I don't really actually even know what her face looks like because I've seen so many of.
I googled it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So I guess there is stuff of her out there, but
she's out and about.
She's out and about, but. I guess, but that's cool. Like, kind of like, I feel like as an artist, if that's how you feel, then do it. I think that's even kind of a cool thing. Like, you know, you're like, I'm not about the looks. I'm not about that. I'm about the music.
It's one of the many ways that she stands out. You know,
yeah,
her voice,
she does stand out as an artist.
Yeah, I mean, her voice is incredible for sure, but she has so much interesting elements to her brand.
Yeah, it's really incredible. So, that music video was named Best Music Video of 2014 by Rolling Stone and Spin Magazine as well. So this song was just a juggernaut in 2014.
Great use of the word.
Along with this song, and along with any popular song, will come, especially in the 2000s, is the cover. Everybody covers everything, and especially with YouTube, like that's just the thing to do. Like record yourself, do a cover of a song. If the song's popular, make a cover of it. I went online and typed in Chandelier covers and got like a million different covers. So I was like, I need to just go through and just kind of watch a couple and see what's kind of actually good here. And the first one I came across was an artist that I know you like, Sarah Bareilles.
Oh, no way.
This on ukulele too.
Cool.
And man, I forgot, but this girl can sing her butt off. It's a live video of her performing, and she's like singing the song. Because like that song is not easy to sing. Because, Sia is just a super talented singer, and we talked about, she has that top range. And Sarah Bareilles is on this singing her little patoot off. It's crazy.
Wow.
Another one I found was now popular Charlie Puth.
Oh, right.
Right. Oh. And the video I found was from June 2014, so it was only a couple months after it came out. So this is prior to when Charlie Puth became huge with that song from with Wiz Khalifa on the Fast and Furious soundtrack. And him doing it was great. And I found actually the rest of these are all male covers. So I guess it's when you see covers, I always find it more interesting, I guess, when it's a male doing a female song or a female doing a male song. That's always a cool switch up.
For sure.
The next one was, man, this was a total surprise. I don't know if you watch this show. I don't really, because I'm kind of just over these type of shows. But The Voice.
No, I don't watch The Voice.
The Voice, American Idol. I guess American Idol is over. But like these type of shows bring a lot of cool singers and stuff. But I feel like they never really come up with artists.
No.
And that's kind of the drag if you're a singer. I don't know. But this one fellow went on and did this song. Jordan Smith was his voice audition, and the way they did the video was so cool because it just focused on the judges. Are you familiar with how they do it on The Voice?
Yeah,
they have the judges in the chairs their backs are turned, and then the person starts singing the song. But in the video, they only had the cameras focused on the judges, and they're all listening, and it's like this voice starts singing the Chandelier, and you see them all getting super into it, and then all of a sudden Jordan Smith here hits that chorus, and then like they all like hit their buttons and they turn around, and it's this like white guy, like this kind of heavier set white guy just killing this song. I think he might have won this season. I think he did, and he was super phenomenal. But that was an audition song, super popular.
Oh, wow.
And then the last cover that I found, and I remember this because it's from a YouTube channel called Postmodern Jukebox. Are you familiar with that YouTube channel?
No.
Essentially what they do is they take popular songs and then make them this kind of like vintage jazz style.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
How
check
have
it
I
out.
not heard
yeah,
of
check
this?
out this channel. There's a lot of great singers. A friend of mine from high school actually does work with them too. She'll sing some stuff with them too. Super cool stuff.
That's awesome.
But the one I found was one called Chandelier cover with quotes, "Sad clown with golden voice." Did you ever see this one?
Oh, no.
No. It's basically this kind of named Puddles doing this really kind of avant-garde version. Like he's got like the fuzzy ball things on his little suit, and he's got this crazy hat, the makeup, like the sad clown makeup, and he's singing it kind of this like kind of dramatic kind of version with just a piano, bass, and a couple violins and a cello. And it's super cool. And I think it was a viral video at the time because it has 4.8 million views. So that was a really cool version that I found online of that particular song. So, gosh, man, I feel like we went over a lot of stuff with
we did.
Let me kind of reel it back. Let's kind of have a final word on Sia's Chandelier, the song Chandelier. This particular song is a tune that, number one, defies Sia's career, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in
many ways, I think it signified that she's going to be a pop singer for years to come. I think also it says a lot about kind of what was the trend in music around that time of 2014. It's not that long ago, but it's a trend that still continues now, which is
like Live for Tonight,
that whole thing. And I think singing matters. There was a while in the mid 2000s where it was just about pop hits that with kind of average singers.
Definitely.
But I think as a singer myself, you as a singer, singing matters, and Sia can sing. I'm not talking S-I-N-G. I'm talking S-A-N-G. Sia can sing.
Yeah, like the production is great, but her voice
is
what makes that song.
That song. I would have loved to be a fly in that room when she's writing that song, and maybe she's just playing the piano and just singing that thing a cappella. It must have been incredible. But what are your kind of thoughts on this particular track?
Well, I'm in complete agreement about like singing matters. It's her voice is, it rings. It has this incredible quality that makes you want to listen. It makes you stop and listen to her voice. Which is something that I think also Adele does really well. Yeah, they kind of came up around the same time. Yeah. Adele's powerhouse singing is it's a thing. I mentioned the divas thing from the 90s. That's a thing from the 90s where powerhouse vocalists top the charts. Right. And vocalists like these are important. Yeah, and Adele's similar in that way. Like, it's not about her image, it's about her voice. Right. You're absolutely right. I've heard that I had a friend that went to one of her shows recently, and she was like, it's just her singing on a stage. It's not all the fluff of a production. No, no, it's not like Miley Cyrus getting up on a... Right. Anyways, you don't have to go down the path. That's the voice. That's the voice. Although Alicia Keys is the other female judge on that, which love Alicia. I mean, hopefully amazing. I'll get to talk about Alicia's song at some point on the podcast. But I was this close. Which one would you have done as a Alicia song? Her classic Some People. Oh, If I Ain't Got You. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, I can't remember titles. I could talk about that song forever, and it's just her and a piano. Oh, yeah. I think there's some drums in there, but I could talk about the song forever. Well, listen, we love Sia. We love Sia's Chandelier. Yeah. I think it's going to be a song. If aliens came down and was like, what's your music here on Earth like? That might be in the list of current songs that I would give them. And then I'd give them some old songs like... the greats. I would give them like Duke Ellington and some Beatles and some Ella. Michael Jackson and maybe Rihanna. Some Louis. No, don't give him Rihanna. Well, I'll give him the good Rihanna. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. The first song. Oh, man, that song was great. All right. So, I want to take a minute and we're going to give Tasneem just a few minutes here to perform one of her songs. So, Tasneem, take it away. 5, 6, 7, 8. Why is it when you break someone's heart, you break a piece of yourself? Why is it when you push him away, he pulls you closer? Oh, let me drink my poison. Let me pretend to be free. You'll never catch me crying. I'll never be that weak. Let me walk away. Let me run unchained. I dare not turn back around. cheat on his love. You're only cheating yourself. Why is it when you tear up his faith, integrity's lost? Let me drink my poison. Let me pretend to be free. Never catch me crying. I'll never be that weak. Let me walk away. Let me run unchained. I dare not turn back around to see the tears on your face. Should I be afraid? Last night won't go away. I can't stop loving you, wanting you, hating this. Oh, let me drink my poison. Let me pretend to be free. You'll never catch me crying. I'll never be that weak. Let me walk away. Oh, let me run unchained. Dare not turn back around to see the tears on your face.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So let's go ahead and wrap up here. Tasneem, go ahead and tell everybody where we could find information about you and your music.
Yeah, absolutely. So my artist name is Malsi. That's Malsi. And my handle for Instagram and Facebook is @musicbymalsi. You can see photos, some clips of songs, some little clips of covers that I've done. Really anything pertaining to my music. You can also find my actual original music. I have an EP out and 2 singles. The singles are called Demons and Burn It Up. They're pretty new. And that's on Spotify. So just search Malsi and you should find that. Also, you can check it out on my SoundCloud, also Malsi, and my iTunes and Apple Music.
Sweet. All over the internet. You're sprinkled all over the internet.
Taking over.
Yes. That's an independent artist. I love it. I love it so much. Once again, my name is Matty Margallo. Shaun Day is our producer. And you can find us on Facebook, The Track Talk Podcast, as well as on SoundCloud.com/The Track Talk Podcast. And you can find us on Twitter at The Track Talk Pod. Forget the cast, only pod. And please feel free to reach out to us, send us ideas for songs, send us any kind of cool things or factoids you know about any of the songs we've talked about. And gosh, I think we've got it all nailed there. This is the Track Talk Podcast with Matty, and we'll see you next time.